Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another interview at the Inner Changemaker. So excited to be bringing you our guest today. My man today, he comes originally from Florence, Italy, and he has a pretty humble beginning, which we're going to get into, but he's really created what I would deem a media empire off of his love and passion for serving amazing food. He recently got named into the Chef Hall of Fame. He has tons of great selling cookbooks such as Fabio's 30-Minute Italian. He has an amazing YouTube show called Fabio's Kitchen. He invented the first HD food porn emoji. We're going to have to ask him about that. And he is here to share with us some of the things that he's been up to, as well as his new projects in the tech scene. So welcome to the show, Mr. Fabio Viviani.
Thanks, my man. It's good to be here. I've been a fan of the show for a while. You got some good character. It's a great place to be, man.
Hey, so I got to ask you, I'm really excited that you're here with us. I recently released, as you know, we attract a certain type of entrepreneur, a certain type of person that's in personal development. And I recently released an episode with someone named Lisa Nichols. You might know her, you might not. But I was reading through her kind of intro, and she had this really interesting point about her. She's from LA originally, but she did a lot of work in Texas. And in the state of Texas, they named a day called Lisa Nichols Day. And I don't remember what the exact day was. But I know you're based out of Chicago, and I found out that they named March 8th. Earlier this year, earlier in 2017, Chef Fabio Viviani Day in Chicago. So I gotta ask, how does it feel to know that you've worked so hard, right? Which we're gonna talk about, and then have a day named after you when you're before you're like 40 years old.
It's pretty cool. I know I was very honest. It's not one of those days where, they shoot fireworks and kids don't go to school and there is a parade.
Yeah.
It's not that much. It's not like a national holiday, but it's good. It feels good. In Chicago, get a high five on March 8th. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty good because they know me here, and we have done a lot of it, and we contribute a ton to the well-being and give back to the city of Chicago very much. So we're leaving a good legacy behind us in the things we do, and getting recognized for it always feels good.
Yeah.
I would have preferred fireworks, shit, and kids out of school and we celebrate with like 4th of July style, but maybe in the next 10 years.
Yeah. Hey, I know you're up to some amazing things, so I'm not surprised. One of the things I didn't mention is that you also run 15 restaurants with multiple locations. You're opening up 7 more. You were telling me off record. You do tons of speaking all around the world and just keynoting. Known, really as a part of, I think you got your start, or at least you're best known for some of those appearances in Top Chef, right? In season 5, season 8.
That was the claim, the claim to fame.
Yeah.
That's how we got broadcasted, right?
Yeah.
When I had Top Chef, I had only literally 2 restaurants, and for the last 10 years, we have built many, many more. This year, the business will pass 100 million in sales. So we're starting to be a sizable company. 1,500 employee, more than that probably by now, and we'll pass 2,000 next year with all the new opening. So I think that because of the work we have done and because of the people that we met along the way, the TV exposure, and you combine everything together, is the perfect storm.
Yeah.
And we really want to, we're just trying to do good. We want to serve good food, create good hospitality. When we talk about real estate, we want to build good place for people to live in it. When we talk about tech, we want to leave a legacy behind and be really useful to people for ages to come. So our whole mission is always been add value to whatever is else that we do.
Yeah.
In the restaurant, we bring value that others don't. And so we do this in all the business we have. And that's why I think we grew so much, so fast, now carefully fast.
Yeah.
Although we do a lot, I always say that the things I turn down are far more than the things I say yes to, which is pretty scary because I'm really busy.
Yeah.
But that's kind of a philosophy a little bit. If it doesn't do good for us and everybody else, I don't know if we're going to do it.
I love it. And I think in a lot of ways, you're living kind of like a modern version of like the American dream, right? Or the North American dream. And
Sorry, if you think about it, right? You know,
Yeah.
I did came to the United States in 2005.
Yeah.
Didn't have money to my name. Didn't speak a word of English.
Right.
Didn't know what the fuck I was going to do. Literally, I was here like I was thinking to vacation. And then in the month prior to me moving here, my whole world changed in Italy, and I went from having money and having security to have been broke and with no path to go back to in Italy. So and maybe I'll tell you more about it. But it was a kind of rough because I didn't speak a lick of the language, zero.
Yeah.
I didn't know where to go. I didn't know who to meet. I didn't know anything about it. I had to figure it out.
So what happened there? Like, was
So
it?
in 2005, June 2005, I moved in United States September 20th, 2005.
Okay.
In June 2005, I sold my business for a lot of money in Italy. I made a few $1 million out.
This is your
of,
business in Italy.
That was my business in Italy. I was a restaurateur there too. We had a bunch of restaurants. We had a hotel. We had a farmhouse. We had a bed and breakfast. I was 27, and I was kind of burned out because I started to work when I was 11, almost 12. And I worked for 15 years, like 130, 140 hours a week. I was burned out. So when the opportunity came to sell the business and check out, I sold it. We made a lot of money. I made myself a few $1 million. And I was like a fairly wealthy kid with nothing to do at that point. So I decided to take a year of vacation. I rented a very expensive place in Malibu, California, and I bought a ticket for September 19th, 2005. I was 3 months out. 2 months into my early retirement, my dad had a disastrous business deal in a small family business he used to run, and that took him to the verge of bankruptcy. Unfortunately, he took on too big of a job for his capability, and the company that tried to hire him as a contractor went away, and he literally got stuck with millions of dollars in bills. And he sat me down and he said, look, you're about to leave for the United States. Your future is made. You have money. And just to have fun, me and mom will sell the house. We move in back with the grandparents, with their family. And I'll file for bankruptcy. So just get out of the country. I don't want this to affect you.
Yeah.
And I said, shit. I mean, I just literally made like $2.5 million for myself. My dad had a debt in excess of $3 million. So I went to the bank. I spoke to the head of the bank. I paid back about $2.3 million, and I left for the United States with a $600,000 loan to pay that back. And so now instead of being fucking millionaire, balling in Malibu, I'm a broke kid that just helped his family. I had no money. I had a big debt, and now I'm balling out of crying aloud in Malibu. Because now I still have an expensive home in Malibu that I couldn't afford anymore because I couldn't afford 10 grand the rent anymore a month. So, and that's it. That's the story. So I came to the United States really willing to do a vacation. And 3 weeks before the vacation of my dream, finally, right, I went bankrupt almost again. And lucky enough, I was able to find myself a job and get a sponsor and everything else. And in 10 years, we built what we have built. But literally, I didn't want to be in the United States to work. I really wanted to be tan and drinking mojito and do jack shit on a beach because I had cash, and cash is king always. Yeah. And I was like, man, this really sucks. But at that point, there was nothing left for me to do in Italy. No job, no restaurant, nothing. What am I going back to make, $1,000 a month? Yeah. I was going crazy. I was like, I got to get out of here just to clear my head and figure out what to do.
First of all, I want to say just, that is such an honorable thing. I mean, man, does that ever suck? So
honorable. Right?
I know,
sucked, really
but I can just imagine the scene of trying to be in Malibu and thinking it's going to be, sunshine and half naked people all over the place. And, that fantasy of being there and literally just maybe being, the other version, it's like the blinds are closed. The
blinds are closed.
Like it's raining inside.
Eating like instant ramen. Yeah, that's exactly what I did. I went from trying to buy my way into Pamela Anderson apartment to buy my way into Vaughn's and buy ramen noodle because I didn't have a freaking dime to pay a dinner out.
Man,
amazing.
What was that first job? Like, was it? I assume back in the hospitality in the restaurant
in United States?
Yeah.
First of all, I had to find somebody sponsor me. So a friend of mine that had a restaurant kind of sponsored me to be able to get a work permit.
Yeah.
And then what happened is that I got a phone book. I bought a bicycle. I got a phone book, and I literally cold call. And I didn't speak a word of English. So mind you that.
Yeah.
I cold call every single restaurant in United States, in Los Angeles area, in Malibu and Ventura County, Italian restaurant, asking in English if there was someone speaking Italian.
Right.
So I could pitch a job for myself because I couldn't do that in English.
Yeah.
So I called everybody. I made 1,000 phone calls in the first couple of weeks. And at the end of the day, I found a restaurant in Moore Park, California that said, yeah, we can use you. So I literally got there. And I didn't want to find a job as a line cook. I couldn't find that easily.
Right.
I wanted to be a consultant because I knew what I was doing. So I went and I was pitching everybody, like, guys, let me check your number. Let me look at your number. Let me look at your vendor. Let me look at your food costs. Let me look at the shit that you do. And I can save you money and I can make you more money.
Yeah.
And you guys going to pay me half of the profit of what I make you more than what you're doing. And you're going to give me 25% of the money I save you. So you still save 75%.
Yeah.
And everybody said, who the fuck are you? You're crazy. Get out of here. I don't know you. You're crazy. I need a line cook. I need a dishwasher. I don't need a consultant. At the end of the day, I found a person that needed a consultant, and I started to consult for them. And I kind of bought my way into my first restaurant in the United States.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's incredible. And I'm so glad that we started this like this because I think it's such a great story from so many different angles. So many people, I think a lot of times they'll complain, right, about their certain circumstances and, not having enough whatever opportunity or knowledge or, feel like they haven't gotten to that level yet. But you're literally like broken English,
not even
calling.
broken. It was calling, no English.
Exactly.
I wish it was broken. Now it's broken. I wish it was broken.
Yeah, non-existent English. Didn't speak the language. Cold calling from a phone book. No internet or or lack of internet, right? Or what the modern day version of the internet is. And still made it work.
And it's still, and it's funny because I always, in my line of duty, whether it's real estate, whether it's tech, whether it's restaurant, I always get it, man. You can't believe, Jay, how many times I hear, I don't have the money, I don't have the resources, I don't have the connection, I don't have the knowledge, I don't know how to start. Resources, money, connection, knowledge, those are time, those are resources, right? Mm-hmm. And failure, it's never the byproduct of the lack of resources. Failure is only the byproduct of the lack of resourcefulness, which is the ability to find resources where at first you think there is none. You see what I mean? So for me, dude, I'm the living proof that if there is a will, there is a way. It's just a matter of finding the right path. Complaining about the absence of opportunity, the absence of time, the absence of money, the absence of connection. It's a fucking rocking chair. You know what a rocking chair does?
Yeah.
See, it does this. This is that. It gives you something to do, but it takes you nowhere because it's going back and forth. Right? So in business, you can't have the rocking chair approach. You got to go through things. And you don't have the money. Great. What other value can you bring to the table? You don't have the time. Let's break down your day. I do this all the time, man. People, they're full of shit. And I tell you why they're full of shit. Because they get comfortable with the mere excuses that they give themselves on why they can't decide to do things. I always tell people that if you have a choice, if you have one choice, I had one choice. I could only make it happen because I couldn't go back to Italy. I couldn't. When you have one choice, you have no choice because one choice ain't a choice. You have to do that.
Yeah, it's an obligation.
It's an obligation. When you have two choices, it's not choices, it's a dilemma. Because what are you going to do? I'm going to do this or that. When you have 3, 4, 5, now I have choices in my life. Now I can do whatever I want, whenever I want it, in whatever way it suits me best, at whatever time of the day, any day of the year. That's when you have plenty of choices. Most people don't have choices. Don't have a choice. They have two, let alone one, let alone two, right? So they have to do whatever they have to do. The problem is that they don't do it. They don't do it, and they blame circumstances. But circumstances never define where you're going to be, only define when you're coming from, man. I grew up in food stamp. We had no money, man. No money. Zero. I didn't have a bed to lay on it till I was 7 years old. I was sleeping on a recliner. And the reason why I got awarded with the bed is because my great-great-grandmother, which was living with us, passed away. And the closet she was sleeping in, there was a foldable bed that all sudden is mine. I had a recliner, like a lounge chair.
Yeah.
Until I was 7 years old. And my wife makes fun of me because I still in bed lay down and I sleep with my knees up. And my wife is like, how the fuck do you sleep with your knees up?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I always slept like that because it's a fucking chair. There is no room for the leg. And I got used to that.
Fabio, so I got to ask, because I looked at some of the previous interviews you've done. I know you're great. Peachman, Gudini was on. I know you guys have done a few interviews. And, I looked at some of the things, and one of the most common themes that I saw come up for you in just random interviews, like, interviews that you probably don't even remember, and was the kind of advice of you always working hard. And it wasn't about necessarily quantity of hours, but you always had this just genuine spirit, this belief that through working hard, you were going to be able to figure out. And
Look,
I wanted to understand, where did that come from for you? And why do you think, if it's that easy, right, if it is that, why do you think a lot of people don't just get to work?
Because, first of all, it is that easy. You got to work really hard. Yeah. And the harder you work, the smarter you get. So the harder you work, the smarter you get, and you go from working really hard to working hard and working smarter and smarter every day. Yeah. Because only an idiot will keep doing whatever you're doing on a loop without achieving result. That's the definition of insanity. So I'm not an insane person. So I work so hard that I fuck up everything there is to logically fuck up about any business very early on because I work so hard. Yeah. Then I learn and eventually I get it right. Yeah. Right. But the problem is the working hard part, right? The problem is application. Everybody knows how to lose weight. Everybody knows how to make more money. Everybody knows how to save time. Everybody knows how to have better relationship. Everybody knows how to get healthier. In the 21st fucking century, there is no excuse for ignorance. So information is not what people need. When people say, I don't know how to do it, shut the fuck up. You know how to do exactly what you want to do. You know how to get a better job. You know how to lose weight. You know that. Yeah. The problem is application, not information. Information is there. You got it. Yeah. Shut the fuck up. Google it, for fuck's sake, right? Yeah. Application. You got to get your ass to actually execute upon. Now, my default is that I apply before I seek for information sometimes. I used to do that a lot. So I work so hard, and I wish I asked few questions to few smart people before I work so goddamn hard. Right. But you can't spend your whole life and get motivated. I love those people that follow motivational page. What the fuck are you getting motivated for? You're getting motivated while you're on your fucking couch. Yeah. I have a lot of friends in the motivational business, but those are people that made a lot of fucking money and now they got nothing to do and they motivate others. But stop getting motivated, start to execute. Yeah.
Well, a lot of times I always find, and this is the struggle I have with a podcast, right, is because, as you can imagine, the amount of content, right, from the interviews is massive. Like I could easily write 1 or 2 books if I wanted to just compile the information there. But I think what you're saying is right. It's always this battle of, it's not more content, but people need more context. People need to understand what's going on in their life and do it.
Look, awareness and execution are the only things that will make you change anything overnight. Awareness and execution. A lot of people focus on things that they suck at it, and rather than focus on what they're good at it, and they don't execute. It's a game of. To me, it's almost like when you go fishing, right? Most people are happy just to fish something. Sure. Now, if you have sit there with a goddamn rod in your hand for 3 hours, might as well fish something, whether it's a small fish or a big fish. if that what makes you excited, I get it. But as a fisherman, which I do love to fish, I would rather not catch a single thing for 3-4 goddamn day and then get a big ass freaking fish that the size of your whole body and take a who wants to take a picture with a mackerel?
Yeah, a little dinky one just over
right.
the photo. It's not cool.
Who wants to take a picture with a sardine? Take a picture with a goddamn tuna. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Go for the big things, because anytime you go for something really big, even if you missed it, chances are you're going to achieve something bigger than what you were thinking to begin with. I heard these at a seminar I've done many years ago from Lee Brown, and I live by it. People suck at growth and building a legacy, not because they dream too big and miss it, but because they set too shitty little goal and they nail it all the time.
Yeah.
You see people get happy when they go like, oh, I'm always on time, okay? And so is 95 everybody else in the fucking world.
Yeah.
What do you want, a medal because you get to work on time every day? You get paid for it. I always do my job. Okay, well, that's your goddamn job to do that. That's how you pay the bill. What do you want, a plaque? Yeah, congratulations. You woke up every day for 30 years and you always be punctual. That's a norm. People start to get all excited about doing basic shit. And that's when you don't win, and that's when you get comfortable, and that's when you start to blame the president, the economy, the euro, the Bitcoin, the healthcare system that is failing you. You're not failing you. Don't wish you was better. Wish you were better. You know, that's.
I love that quote.
Yeah.
So I got to ask you this. I wasn't planning on it, but we had Grant Cardone on a few months back, a little while back, and I asked him.
Grant's a good friend.
Yeah, and I asked him this question on work-life balance, okay? Because I understand, he has, as you know, he has very particular views on certain things. And he says work-life balance, these were his words, what he said was that a lot of times when we set goals, it's usually just like the tuna example. We want to go 10x. We want to go big. We want to go Hollywood. Yep. We want, to have the dream, right? And when it starts getting hard, that's when we start bringing up things like work-life balance, and you start returning your goal. So what has your thoughts been on, not that this interview is around that, but how did you kind of combat that if you're working so hard, especially early on in your career and trying to make a name for yourself? Did you have a level of balance?
There is no balance. Balance is what you can afford to do. Balance is only your ability to put money when your mouth is. What is work balance for you? Be home because you work 40 hours a week, and once a week go have a burger with your girlfriend, or maybe go to a movie theater, and every goddamn week you guys do the same things because you can't afford anything better? Yeah. Are you happy? Then great. Fantastic. Good for you. I'll be fucking miserable. Work balance, life balance for me is to work my ass off 130 hours a week, be 9 months on the road, then my wife barely see me, but then be able to take her on a month and a half trip to France and a shopping spree on the Champs-Elysees while I'm building a school in fucking Uganda because I can pay for it. That's life balance to me. But again, if you ask my dad, life balance is to go home every night as early as possible because he hates his fucking job, and take 3 weekends off throughout the whole year, take 1 week of paid vacation, take my mom to a lake, camping in a fucking tent, and pissing in a bush. My dad is happy though. You see what I mean? If he's happy, you can't blame it. The problem is that people that complain about their situation and then they want work and life balance.
Yeah.
Stop fucking watching TV. Work really hard. What is balance is nothing else than you reaching your schedule daily that makes you really fucking happy. Yeah. I'm at a point in life where if my wife needs me, guess what? She gets me. Because I don't have to be at work every day. I want to be there, but if I'm missing for a month, I'll still make a lot of money. That's the balance I feel everybody's striving for it, because it's not balance when you don't have a choice.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you don't have a choice, it's not balance, it's a situation.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I mean?
It's a dilemma. Yeah, it's
a
something
dilemma.
you got to solve, right?
Imbalance. You have a situation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, oh my, I need a balanced life. I need 2 days off a week. No, you don't.
Yeah.
Because if somebody would tell you right now that we pay you 3 times more to be busy those 2 days, most of you would take the money. So shut the fuck up, because you don't need a balanced life.
Yeah.
You just don't know how to make a busier one. It's different, you know. But with that said, if you're happy, and there are people out there that with 40 hours a week, $30,000 a year,
they're not listening to the show though. They're 100%. Well, maybe,
but that's okay. But
yeah.
I respect that. You know, I respect every position, every train of thoughts, every human. I don't care what suits you. If it suits you, good for you. You see what I mean? The problem is that 95% of the people bitches about their scenario, their situation, and they still talk about life-work balance. Well, you have no other fucking choice than be home and and hang out at the house because you can't build shit.
Yeah.
So that's the one I have a problem with.
Yeah.
But I agree with Grant. It's mostly an excuse to not push hard enough to achieve what you wish you had, but you're gonna keep wishing until you make it happen.
And I love that you share that, because you don't just crush it from one angle. I mean, yeah, you're this, chef Hall of Fame, multiple restaurants, and you have, that personal brand going for you as well. But you're coming from it at the point of tech, real estate, multiple industries. So I think it's been really great for you to share that. Kind of transitioning a little bit, because I know we talked about your, when you were on The Celebrity Chef, and you ended up winning, the crowd favorite, right?
Yep.
For me, I don't think you actually get a lot of credit for when I looked at like your timeline. I said, this seems quite intentional. I think it was, you leveraged it properly. I think a lot of times, it's probably a different conversation, but a lot of times reality TV stars for anything, whether it's for a cooking thing or whatever, like it's difficult for them to kind of leverage one thing to go into the next.
It's statistically impossible. So most people,
right.
I was on season 5 of Top Chef. So did the show create exposure? Yeah. But the mechanics around it, the mechanics around it, and the mechanics around the use of the exposure, that was completely planned. I wasn't sitting there like most people, shaking hands, getting free drinks, and trying to get laid in Malibu with a TV exposure. I worked harder. I made better connection. I pitched myself in a different way, and the same things the same way I've done a thousand, more than that, 2,000 phone calls to get the person to hire me under my condition. When I was on Top Chef, 45 days before the show was on TV, I called every single agency, every single booking agency, every single entertainment agency in the world, United States, not the world.
Yeah.
And I said, hey guys, I'm Fabio Viviani. I have a couple of restaurants. I'm about to be on TV. While I can't tell you how TV did for me, I will tell you that you want to pay attention. And keep me in mind for your show, your venues, your entertainment night, your event. And literally, I went from owning 2 restaurants in the United States and making $100,000 a year to, in the 2 years after Top Chef, I made almost $1 million in gig hiring speak and appearances and things, because the first few, they were for a couple of $1,000s. They didn't pay shit. I barely covered my cost of getting my ass across the nation. But the other, after that, because I always deliver, they saw, oh shit, this kid is really good. Let's get him for something else. And that's how I met some of my business partner. That's how I met some of my real estate investor. That's how I got into the whole idea of the growing the business from different vertical, starting with the restaurant and the hospitality. Even the tech that I own, which, happy to discuss it a little bit. Sure, it's a direct byproduct of my need to connect with 2,000 employees every day, which you physically cannot do that.
Fabio, it's awesome. And for people that are watching this or listening to this, I hope you guys are realizing the themes that are coming up. First of all, we know Fabio is a great cold caller. We've gotten that much from the interview. I was like, that's a key to success right there. But also, like, the ability, and this is something that I think is really important for us just to touch on, is like when you got the opportunity, which is to be on TV, to be on Top Chef, you knew that was going to play out. You worked harder. Like you went
Yeah,
in
and
harder,
actually,
you know what I mean? You leveled
it's
up.
fun. It's funny because I didn't. So when I first had the opportunity to do Top Chef, I turned it down because I didn't have a restaurant yet. I was working for somebody, and I said, I'll thank you. I'll keep you in mind, but maybe next year. And I went when I had my first restaurant, so I owned everything I was doing.
Yeah.
I didn't have to ask permission to anybody. That's what most people do. Most people go on Top Chef and they lose their job because they're employed by somebody. You're gone 7 weeks, and now you're nowhere. It's just it's really sad. But
well, I think positioning, raising your standards, going all in on having that bigger dream, like it's super clear, and that's part of the reason why you're able to 10x in a very small time frame, right? I hope people, listening to your story and listening to this so far, they got that so far, and they wrote down some notes. Talk to me about the tech, because I think that's a really interesting thing, because you're now in this tech world. You created the emoji keyboard, which we were talking about a little off record.
Yeah, but that was for shits and giggles.
I know. So
just for fun.
What's going on with this new project that you're working on?
So
Doppel
if you think about the scenario of the current social media landscape, right? Influencer like you, celebrity, doctor, nutritionist, fitness, entrepreneur, CEOs. Anybody with a following, whether it's 1,000 people or 1 million people, has one consistent struggle: connection and quality interaction, right? Yeah. Because look, how many listeners your podcast has?
How many people? Every month we have about 15, just around 15,000.
15,000 people. What if everybody asks you a question about an episode? You can't answer everybody. There's no way. You can't fucking
impossible.
do it.
It's impossible. Unless you have a team of VAs just doing it for you, right?
But then it's not you answering.
Exactly.
You see what I mean?
Yeah,
so what if 10,000 people?
Touch.
What if 10,000 people get inspired by my video and they want to ask me a question to turn their life around? There is no fucking way. I can't answer 10,000 emails. There's not enough time in a lifetime.
Yeah.
What if a doctor with 2,000 patients, they all have questions in a month? What if a fitness trainer, he has 300, clients? What if a celebrity? I'm a good friend with a lot of celebrity, and they have millions and millions of followers, and they can't connect on a personal level. Yeah. That's what we did. I created a tech business called Doppel, Dopple, which is the short version of doppelganger, your stunt double. And we create on your phone virtual alter ego of yourself. Whether you ask a question, whether you want to have a conversation, you go on Doppel, you find your favorite influencer, or you can be the influencer, because I'm sure a lot of people ask you a lot of questions, and you create your Doppel. Now people will look at you like if we are on FaceTime. Every question you get, every question your fan asks you, every question your client asks you, every question your student asks you, or every question anybody asks you, you take a meaningful, compelling minute, 2 minutes to answer, instead of a shitty tweet, reply, DM, or a short comment on your feed. And that video now lives there forever. So now, after you have 50, 100, 200, 300, 500 video, I have, few hundred on my phone. You can go on your phone, pull up Doppel, go to Fabio Viviani profile, and have a conversation like me and you were having right now by asking a bunch of questions while maybe I'm on the beach sipping on a Mai Tai, because Doppel answer for me to a question that I already answered that many people ask over and over and over. And the beauty of it is that if I get a question that I never got asked before, which can happen, you have a nice, interesting new question, I get notified on my time, I do a video reply, the video reply gets to you, and from that moment on, anyone that asks anything like it gets the video reply too.
I like it. So people, like influencers, can use it to really communicate, to build with their community. Yes. Right?
Man, thinking about Grant Cardone, right, which is a good friend of mine, and I'm trying to get him on Doppel, but he's busy. I just got to get to it. And, how many questions you think he gets about fucking sales and real estate?
Like every video is like hundreds, right? Yeah, perfect. That's crazy.
So now think about you, Jay, right?
Yeah.
At the end of this podcast, I can be like, hey, guys, thank you for having me on the podcast. If you have any question for me, Doppel me. Boom. It's done. You go on Facebook and you tell people, hey, do you like this? Doppel me. You go on a live tour in front of a stadium full with 100,000 people. You love your favorite pop star, singer? Hey guys, love to talk to you. Dopple me. What chances your teenage daughter had today to talk to Justin Bieber? For real. No chances.
No chance,
What chances the 20 years old that is a basketball aficionado has chances to talk to Black Mamba about why he did retire at the height of his career? No fucking chance. What chances has a Food Network fanatic to talk to Fabio on a very personal level over the phone like we are doing now and ask Fabio, what's your favorite recipe for meatball? No fucking chances. That's what we fixed.
Yeah.
That's what we brought to the table. And I tell you why I did it. I have 2,000 employees and they're everything to me. And I want to be there for them when they have questions about the business.
Yeah.
But also, Doppel is so much more. You're talking about legacy always in your podcast.
Yeah.
And Doppel is the perfect legacy scenario. Because me and my wife and my grandfather, I have a 2-year-old boy, Jay, right?
Okay.
My son is 2.
Yeah.
My grandfather is 94 years old. My grandfather asked me to put Doppel on his phone, and he records video daily for my child. So when my child is 20 years old and he needs to get some really kick-ass life lesson, he can hear it from my grandfather's mouth 10 years after he's dead. So with Doppel, the children's of my children's children, they're going to be able to ask me directly how I came to the United States, how I kicked ass, how to work fucking hard and work smart. And I can tell them that, hey, you know what? Wait till you're 40 before you get married. No, I'm just kidding. No, but that's the power of Doppel. It connect. I bring back 1980s when everybody used to talk to each other. Social media ain't very social, dude.
Yeah,
I see couple that they're like heads down texting each other.
Yeah.
For fuck's sake, you're 2 rooms apart. Get your ass up and go tell her whatever you gotta tell her.
Yeah.
That's why on Doppel I have some of the most amazing influencers on the planet, because that's exactly what Doppel is for.
Yeah. It's we're gonna make sure to link everything in below the show notes, and if you're listening to this on podcast, we're gonna have it on the show notes on the website as well. And before I forget, I mean, this is Fabio Viviani. He's been one of the key guests literally this year. It's been amazing. We've had the lineup for 2018 has been sick. And Fabio, this has been an amazing interaction. And I'm going to link to all your social media as well. But I do have a last couple questions for you.
Please.
You talk about legacy, and I had some goosebumps going on, in thinking about that. Thinking about your grandfather, your great grandfather, and thinking about your son being able to interact with that content. As now you have this cooking show, you're doing more, you're all constantly doing these interviews. How do you look at, I mean, obviously you care so much about it because you're creating, Doppel. But how do you look at the conversation of legacy and overcurrency? Like, how do you look at some of the work that you're doing? Like, do you think about that and how that might, how your children might look at your story and get inspired by that?
Yeah, I'm not going to pretend. I have friends of mine. He has a lot of money. Okay. Like a lot of money. He has like fuck you money. Like he has the kind of money that he can keep spending recklessly every day and still be rich. And he's having his kids do all these things, going to Africa, build a village, struggle, live in a shitty apartment. And I get it.
Yeah.
I understand. He's trying to teach struggle. So they learn and might appreciate later what they have. I'm not that way. I can't pretend that my kids is not going to grow up privileged. Shit, I bought this week 5 toys for him, and I grew up with 3 toys through my whole life, right? This week alone, I bought more than toys than I ever had. But I'm going to be one of those dads that teaches compassion, honesty, help other, and work really hard. And then if you're lucky that you start with a head start because your family has some money, good for you. There's nothing to be ashamed of that. Somebody worked really fucking hard and you have some benefit. I work for him. I don't work for myself. Dude, if I was single, if I didn't have my wife and my child, fuck, I wouldn't even shower. Who gives a shit? That's what I do it for. I do it for them.
There's an honest moment right there.
It is, but it's true, dude. A lot of the things I do, you think I do for my wife and my kids. Give a shit. I don't need the money I have. I need a lot less than that to live. But the legacy for me is really a good wealth of teaching, a good wealth of knowledge that goes from my thinking process to my children.
Yeah.
And then they can do whatever they want with it. I want them to be passionate. I want them to be kind. I want them to be honest. I want them to be very, very knowledgeable about what they are good at.
Yeah.
And I want them to understand that if they suck at something, it's okay. Daddy is never been a fan of participation medal anyway. That's why America is getting fucking ruined. You know, everybody's down the street screaming for healthcare and raise minimum wage and gold fucking participation medal, and they never worked a day in their life.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't earn it, you can't ask for it. Period. I don't want a fucking hands out. I'm an immigrant. I could come here, get on fucking welfare, and have the state pay me $1,500 a month to stay home and suck it on my thumb. Instead, we built $100 million business, and I never took a fucking dime out of the government. Actually, I pay a lot of fucking taxes. Thank God they're lowering them right now.
Yeah.
So, but that said, that's the spirit of legacy that I want to leave behind, and Doppel will help. Because instead of my great-grandchildren, instead of hearing story about me and watch some shitty YouTube video or maybe a nice podcast like this, they can directly ask me and hear it from my mouth other than, you know, you ever playing the phone tags? When you have 3, 4, 5 people want to say things, and by the time it gets to the last one, is a complete different sentence.
Right. The meaning has changed. The words have
the
changed.
Meaning has. That's what's happening here. You know, if you want to hear it from me, you got to ask me.
Yeah. And I'm so excited that you put so much energy behind this project, getting it out there. I'm excited to be a part of it myself, you know, so that the Changemaker community could be asking us questions, and me personally. And I'm going to link to both our profiles so that people can get this going and kind of take a look at some of the questions and answers that you have done already. But Fabio, got to ask you one last question.
Please.
The show is called The Inner Changemaker.
Yeah.
So what do you think about, what's the definition, what pictures, what words comes to mind for you when you think of the word changemaker?
Changemaker are people that create a path where there isn't one. Changemaker are people that put legacy before profit and currency. Changemakers are people that lead a way when everybody else doesn't see that there could be a nice road ahead of there. You know, changemaker are pioneers and settlers, because the pioneer usually gets arrows in their backs. History has learned that. And the pioneer don't lead the way, while the settlers come and reap the benefit. I think a changemaker is both a pioneer because they're willing to get some arrows in their back to explore uncharted territory, but they also, once they get those territory, they figured out how to make the best of it and fucking kill it. Winners win.
Love it. And Fabio, before we head out, I mean, I just wanted to take a few seconds to honor you for being a perfect definition of a changemaker, for coming to America under the craziest circumstances that you were in, to work your face off endlessly, you know, to pursue the different projects that you've done, to have the success that you've had, but to also remain humble and share some time with me, and to be able to give back from a tech perspective and really think about legacy in a very unique way. So I really wanted to honor you and thank you so much again for coming on, brother. Really do.
Thank you, guys. See you soon, man.
Yes, we'll talk to you.
Thank you for having me, buddy.
Yes, we'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.